The following is a hockey podcast out of Vancouver and Surrey, British Columbia. It'll only consist of a lot of puck talk and even more BS, or in actual words, banter and satire. Enjoy, and as always, go Canucks go.
Yeah, it's all good, baby.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, how could you be stressed out on a hump day? And how can you be stressed out when you're listening to Locked On Canucks? Welcome to another episode of Locked On Canucks. My name is Trevor Beggs, co-host of Locked On Canucks, and also a Canucks writer currently with Daily Hive Vancouver. Before we dive into today's episode, we got to thank you for tuning into Locked On Canucks, because it is your Canucks every damn day. We're part of that Locked On Podcast Network. They're doing the most for sports fans across the world. And for our show, if you haven't done so already, what are you waiting for? Make sure you go subscribe and like this video on YouTube, and on the podcast side, oh baby, go follow us and leave a 5-star review. Because we're not here without you, but we're also not here without the sponsors. And today's episode is brought to you by Gametime. Go download that Gametime app, create an account, and use code Locked On NHL for $20 off your first purchase. Man, oh man, it might be easy to stress out with the Vancouver Canucks losing their first 3 games to start the season. They suffered their first regulation loss against the Tampa Bay Lightning. Kyle, a little stressed out after the game. That's why he's taking a trip, man. He's hanging out in the clouds today. And again, we're going to try to keep it light and optimistic for Kyle's sake and for your sake, because the sky isn't quite falling in Vancouver. And there's actually a couple of good things we've seen from this team so far. So let's get into our 3 reasons why Vancouver Canucks fans shouldn't worry right now. We'll also shout out some low-key contributors. And maybe we'll see if we can avoid talking about the biggest concern here. But no promises as we get into this episode of Locked On Canucks. All that and more coming up. But before we do that, let me introduce my co-host, Kyle Bhawan. How you feeling, brother?
I'm feeling like I haven't won a hockey game since my birthday. Oh, yeah, that's the truth. That's the truth. Waking up winless. Waking up a loser. That being said, Kyle Bhawan, Trevor Beggs, Locked On Canucks. We're here for you and you and you and you and you and you. And we're also here to tell you that it's actually not that bad. It could be way worse. That is the truth, okay? We lost to the Tampa Bay Lightning, and we also lost to the Calgary Flames, the best teams in hockey. So are they 2 of the only undefeated teams in hockey? Do the math, okay? You know what I'm saying? All in all, though, again, Beggsy and I here to talk about some specifics. And to be honest, what's the title of this episode? 3 reasons why the Vancouver Canucks fans shouldn't worry, okay? Do I have 3 reasons or 2 or 1? Trevor Beggs, can you start this list off? I'm all over the place.
All right, well, let's start the list off with, I'm going to show the defensive side of things first.
Whoa!
Because I think right now people are worried about the puck-moving ability of the defense, the lack of mobility back there. And, I think that's fair, right? The Canucks team, they are lacking puck movers, right? That's no secret. But overall, the defense actually hasn't been that bad, okay? Now, again, last night, they've had bad stretches. They've had bad periods. But overall, the Canucks defense, and relative to the rest of the NHL, I know right now it's very early sample sizes. It is overreaction season. But again, this Canucks defense has been better than you think. Now, Jay Fresh posted this to his Twitter account. And basically, he was saying that, the Canucks defense is top 10 right now in terms of expected goals against. All right. And I'll bring up the graphic here quickly. Again, right now, it's early days with the Canucks the 7th best defense in the NHL so far, according to the fancy stats, okay, with 2.21 expected goals against. And you can kind of see the logic, because both in the game against Calgary and in the game against the Flyers, they didn't allow a lot of high danger chances, right? The Flames game was more bad goaltending, shots getting through traffic and beating Shilovs. In the Philly game, especially through 2 periods, the Canucks had outchanced Philly 14-3 at even strength. They had allowed next to nothing. And of course, they allowed a bit more in the 3rd period. And then against Tampa last night, they have 1 bad period, and then, they more or less shut it down defensively for the other 40 minutes. So The defense so far, again, it's fair to be concerned about the lack of mobility back there. It's fair to be concerned about the puck moving. But in terms of the actual defense, for the most part, it's actually been not that bad.
Here's the thing, though, and again, we're not trying to keep it happy. I feel like when they've been bad, they've been really bad. Case in point, that first period yesterday. I mean, that game could have been 5-0 after one period. That's how bad they were. But again, Trevor, I brought this up in the postgame show. Tampa was obviously going to come out firing. Okay, they got the talent for it, they got the coaching for it, and they were playing for more than just a hockey game yesterday. Okay, straight up, they were playing for their city, they were playing for their state, and that was somewhat of the inevitable. Okay, and I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I do want to bring up this as a positive, and it kind of has something to do with the defense, the team defense, and it's their penalty killing. Okay, again, early on in the season, but yesterday, man, oh man, they put on a clinic. They really, really did, especially late in that game when they needed kills. They made it look easy. Now, Trevor, again, I don't have the stats in front of me, not the stats guy. What's their penalty killing looking like so far this season? And what did you see yesterday that was different from years past? Because again, that was a specialty.
It's interesting. The one thing I've kind of noticed about the Canucks penalty kill this year is it seems to be more aggressive. And obviously the penalty kill was probably a bit of a concern entering the season because they lost so many contributors in the PK, right? Lindholm's gone, Zadorov's gone, Ian Cole's gone, Dakota Joshua, who's became a top penalty killer for this team. He gone for now, okay? Dakota Joshua obviously coming back, though. But again, a lot of new faces back there. We mentioned it before. A guy like Kiefer Sherwood, who's barely killed penalties in the NHL, is now a top penalty killing forward for the Vancouver Canucks. So there's a ton of change there. And on top of that, they seem to be playing a bit of a different style. So the Canucks penalty kill right now, and especially last night, reminded me of the Edmonton Oilers in the playoffs. And that's a good thing because the Oilers penalty kill was a huge bonus for them. They had a great PK in the playoffs. And the main thing with the Oilers PK was it was incredibly aggressive. It was almost the opposite of what the Canucks did against the Oilers in the playoffs, where they kind of just sat back and really tried to block the lanes between McDavid and Draisaitl. But they seem very aggressive right now to start the season. And because of that, it's if the aggressive penalty kill is executed successfully, it looks really good, right? You're not allowing zone entries, you're not allowing those cross-ice passes, you're breaking up plays. That being said, there have been moments where if you miss on your aggressive pinches on the penalty kill, it can look really bad. And I think there was a moment or two in that Flyers game, for instance, where Joel Farabee has the wide open cage, should have buried it, and he misses the open net. That was a play where the Canucks were probably a bit overly aggressive on the penalty kill. But again, I know it's early in the season, but for the most part, considering the amount of changes they had back there and the fact that they're playing a bit of a different style on the penalty kill, it's been a big success so far. And again, this is the main thing, right? We've shout out the team defense and the penalty kill so far. Kyle, round of applause to this guy because you know who's in charge of this? Adam Footman. The Canucks have Adam Foote, and Kyle's mentioned it before. This guy could win the Jack Adams because, hey, it doesn't matter if he's a head coach or not. He's still a coach, and he's doing a bang-up job for your Vancouver Canucks.
Again, we're reaching here, and we're being super positive for the people we got to be, and we're talking about this defense being good and this penalty killing being decent, and the penalty killing is ranked what, number 15? Where's the bar? Straight up, where's the bar? But if Pettersson doesn't break down in period number 2 against Philadelphia defensively, Philadelphia's not scoring a penalty by power play goal. You know what I'm saying? If Shelovs is, on top of his game, the Canucks and their defense look really good against the Calgary Flames. And we've only played 3 games. You know what I'm saying? Speaking of playing 3 games, you know who's been our best player in those 3 games? It's the little spoon who stirs the drink. Again, making it cool to be small. Connor Garland. And I'll take it here, man. The biggest positive so far for the Vancouver Canucks, again, Connor Garland. And I truly do believe that he's going to be taking a huge step in his statistical game this season. And he may be as promising as Brock Besser is to this team as far as contributions from your winger. Okay? It may not equate to 40 goals or that's 50 goals that we have in mind for Brock, but it may equate to like 80 points. That's how good this guy's playing. This guy looked unbelievable yesterday in the last 2 periods, time in and time out against Victor Hedman along the boards. Connor Garland is 4'4". Victor Hedman's a Norris caliber defenseman. Okay, Hall of Fame defenseman, captain of the Tampa Bay Lightning. Connor Garland is just dominating him. And again, Trevor, you brought this up way before the truth started happening, and Garland started proving that he is that impactful. But man, oh man, you got to be impressed with what he's been able to do as far as being a play driver, somebody who gives a beep, straight up. This guy gives a shit compared to anyone else. When the team is down, this guy just brings them up. Again, the little spoon that stirs the drink. All in all, Connor Garland is the man. What do you have to say about that?
Connor Garland for the Hart Trophy, man. Let's go, buddy. No, and Kyle, like we've been banging this drum for quite some time. I remember one of our episodes from the summer of 2023, where we talked about how trading Connor Garland would be a mistake for the Vancouver Canucks. And Kyle, let's hit the round of applause button for us, man. Let's go. A bunch of cocky SOBs over here at Locked On Canucks, but Connor Garland, I think you've seen it in his game, even though necessarily the points haven't been there. He is such a dog out there, and his skills at the puck are up there with some of the best in the league, and he just rarely finds himself in his own end of the ice. Like when Connor Garland's on the ice, the puck tends to be in the offensive zone. And again, so far through the first 3 games, obviously the Canucks haven't fully been clicking. But they do have a guy going in Connor Garland who, by the way, has led the team in even strength ice time among forwards in the last 2 games. He was first against Philly, he was first against Tampa Bay Lightning. So Connor Garland not only has been the best Canuck so far, but he's being rewarded for that tenacious forechecking and puck possession wizardry that he possesses.
Wow. No, that's crazy. Highest in even strength minutes, man. Straight up. That is an impressive stat. And if we're talking about the good things and why Canucks fans shouldn't worry, again, if Connor Garland is able to elevate his game and become a way better player than we think he is, that adds to the ceiling of this team. Because we're talking about a guy that in the past, and now we're going way, 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 way back, but in the past he was, like a freaking all-star in junior, putting up points, putting out an insane amount of points too, and those offensive instincts don't die. They've been watered down though because he's had to change his game to adapt to the NHL. But what if he's used to the speed? What if he's used to the pace? What if he's used to his place on this team? What if he has the belief in Tocchet? What if it's all coming together for him and he's able to tap into his instincts more often and be that guy and ultimately raise the ceiling? Because again, he dominated Victor Hedman along the boards. You know how shifty and tough you got to be to do that? If you're the size of Connor Garland, straight up, honestly, it's more than just the will though. It's literally his hockey sense, and it's been on display all season long. And Connor Garland, man, what a G. And Trevor, like before we get to the other side, like I guess it's 4 things or 4 reasons why the Canucks fans shouldn't worry. In the last 2 games, say what you want about Shelov's yesterday. I think people don't like that Braden Point goal that he let in, the second goal, right? But we've gotten pretty good goaltending in the last 2 games. And for those who didn't like that Braden Point goal, what are you saying about JT Miller's goal in game 1 against the Calgary Flames goaltender? No, straight up. When really good players, really good offensive players, I'm talking top 10 offensive players over the last 3 years, have a wide open lane to the net and they're winding up for a slap shot and they score, don't blame the goaltender.
Don't blame the goaltender, man. I like it. And again, look at that, Kyle, giving the fans a bonus reason to be happy about a winless hockey team so far. Unbelievable. Kyle, on the other side, I want us to each shout out one low-key contributor, someone not named Connor Garland, who's been good for your Canucks so far.
Oh, that's going to be hard. This one's going to be hard.
And we'll see if we can avoid talking about a big concern with this team, but we may just talk about the biggest concern with this team. We'll also try to get some of your comments as well. Again, you're listening to Locked On Canucks, your Canucks every day. We'll be back after we shout out our friends over at Gametime and PrizePicks. You know the deal, baby. If you're buying tickets for anything, not just your Vancouver Canucks, but some BC Lions, perhaps some Seattle Seahawks, some concerts, some comedy, all that stuff, make sure you go use Gametime. There's no other app you should be used to buying tickets aside from Gametime because they got your back, baby, and they got that lowest price guarantee, meaning that if you find tickets for cheaper elsewhere, Gametime, they'll credit you with 110% of the difference. Wow. Now, Gametime, they're stepping it up even further, okay? They have a new feature called Gametime Picks that makes getting tickets for your favorite live events even easier. Gametime Picks filters out that fluffy fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Because your time is valuable, baby. You got to sit back, relax, and scratch your sack sometimes, okay? So make sure you go find whatever tickets you like to get on Gametime, okay? Download that Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Download Gametime today. What time is it? Game time.
One left to Gametime.
All right. Now we also got to shout out our friends over at PrizePicks. Welcome to the Locked On family, baby. Now with PrizePicks, baby, okay, if you want to get in the real money on sports action, go to PrizePicks, okay? They got over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, okay? All you have to do is go on PrizePicks and pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash, okay? They're the app to go to for daily fantasy sports, baby. Now, you can win up to 100 times your money on PrizePicks with as little as 4 correct picks, all right? And PrizePicks, they also invented the flex play, which means you can still cash out if your lineup isn't perfect, okay? No perfection needed because you're not perfect, I'm not perfect, and PrizePicks, they still got your back, baby. You can double up your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit, okay? So make sure you sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play $5 on PrizePicks. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. It's a no-lose scenario, baby. PrizePicks also offers weekly promotions that can lead to big payouts like Taco Tuesday. Each Tuesday, PrizePicks discounts select player projections up to 25% to provide even more value to your lineups. Make sure you go to PrizePicks. Let's go, baby.
Wow. People, we back doing this, and that's gassing up your winless Vancouver Canucks, right? We're so happy about this team that's 0-1-2, aka 0-7-5. It feels like that, bro. No wins. And Trevor Beggs, man, starts off this episode gassing up the defense. Bro, all I remember is how bad this team was in the first period. How bad this team was in the third period against Calgary and like halfway through the second period against Calgary. And man, oh man, it's a lot. It's a lot. But they're dealing with a lot right now too, okay? And that's reality. Well, what happens, Trevor? The truth hurts. The truth also sets you free. That being said, I don't know if the Canucks are ever going to be free of defensive worry if, again, night in and night out, 2 of their 6 defensemen are potential healthy scratches. And this was the biggest concern going into the season, and it's hurting us. It's hurting us a lot right now.
Yeah, again, it's here. I want to shout out one Canuck in particular who I think has been a really successful low-key contributor in some ways, and in other ways has struggled a bit, and that's Noah Juulsen, okay? Shout out to the Surrey boy, baby. Now, Noah Juulsen, obviously, last night, I think what fans are going to remember most is him falling down or maybe even getting tripped up.
True.
That might have been a low-key trip, by the way, for Kucherov and Juulsen. But anyways, that's the moment they're going to remember. Noah Juulsen falls down.
You're nice.
Tampa gets the puck, and then they go and score. Now, Noah Juulsen has been on for an even strength goal against in each of his first 2 games this season since entering the lineup. But on the PK, man, and again, maybe he's given some Nils Amon vibes where at even strength there's some struggles, but on the PK, he's excellent. Now, Noah Juulsen, he leads all Canucks defenders so far this season, averaging .343 per game on the PK. The possession metrics are excellent. Even though he's one of the top guys out there, the opposition is creating next to nothing on the power play. Look, Noah Juulsen, I think, he can be aggressive on the penalty kill. You saw him throw a big hit on the penalty kill against the Flyers. I thought he was a really good position against the Tampa Bay Lightning. So I'm curious where it goes in Noah Juulsen. I just want to see him just lock it down a bit more to even strength, man, because the guy's got the physicality. And he leads the Canucks in hits last season. Come on, man. Or leads Canucks defenders in hits last season. He can be a good NHL defenseman, but he just needs to tidy up a little bit at even strength because he's a great penalty killer.
What's up with these defensemen, bro? Like, oh, if you're a great penalty killer, you're going to be an NHL player, dude. It's like, what does that mean? Oh, you're not really good 5-on-5, but you have a human body. Let's put you in front of the net for you to block some shots, okay? Be a pawn for us. What are the front people at the front of the line when it comes to being in the army or whatever? You know what I'm saying? Like the people who go down first. Is that Noah Juulsen and Forbert? Like, oh yeah, block some shots, buddy. Put your body on the line. Don't do anything else though. Please, don't touch the puck. You know why I keep saying that? Like, I keep bringing up the bottom two defensemen and how it's gonna constantly get in the way of the Canucks trying to be consistent. It's because it impedes their ability to not be scrambly in their own zone, but also make a play out of it with the puck. Because if you're just clearing the puck out, all you're doing is giving the puck back to the other team. And if for 1/3 of each hockey game, that's kind of how it's gonna look as you roll out your units. More often than not, you're gonna find ways to give momentum to the other team and ultimately like have a bad period every now and then. Because the Vancouver Canucks this year so far in 3 games they played really bad in one period in each game, like catastrophically bad, ultimately leading them to losses. Where am I going with this? I thought I was supposed to be positive, straight up. I want to be positive. Okay, here's the thing. Low-key contributor. You want to be more positive, Trevor? Before we talk about Elias Pettersson, the biggest alien, biggest elephant, biggest alien in the room? Can we give a shout out to Tyler Myers? I did it yesterday. Can we do it? And I know he didn't look perfect yesterday. Looked a little slow. There was that disallowed goal that Hughes effed up onto the whole. Again, he wasn't perfect yesterday, but talk about a guy. Game 3, how old is Tyler Myers? 39 years old, 46 years old, 34 years old, whatever the age is. Old dude, has played a lot of games. Guy's got a family, and in Game 3, he's playing hurt. He's playing hurt in Tampa Bay. You know what I'm saying? Not 100%, but even he knows that he cannot afford to get out of this lineup. You don't think he knows that? You don't think he knows that if he's out of the lineup, this Canucks team is going into Tampa using Vincent Desharnais, Forbort, and Juleson? But there he is, playing like a man, being the man he is, showcasing that he's one of the toughest guys in hockey, because he truly is, and he's playing games. So I just want to give a little shout out to him, because you have individuals, and you could put Connor Garland on this boat too, that really care about being Vancouver Canucks. And that's still relatively new. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, Tyler Myers, again, I don't think any of us expected him to play yesterday, especially after what we saw against the Philadelphia Flyers. And he's a tough SOB, man. And shout out to the wily vet here on the Vancouver Canucks, the oldest player on the team this season at 34 years old. Again, hopefully he can get to that 1,000 game mark on this road trip. I know that was a goal of his as well. And man, oh man, the script has changed on Tyler Myers in Vancouver. Will the script change on Elias Pettersson? Will the script change for this show? Who knows? Find out on the other side after we shout out our friends over at
Here we go.
All right, NFL fans, NHL fans, you can start the season with a big return on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. You'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place just your first $5 bet, baby. And man, oh man, not seeing the Canucks lines for tomorrow, but looking at some of the lines tonight. Well, come on, man. Let's bet against the Maple Leafs, okay? The LA Kings, division rival in Toronto, they're plus 146 to take out the Maple Leafs. They also got the Boston Bruins underdogs against the winless Avalanche. Man, oh man. And finally, the Utah Hockey Club, plus 172 to get a goal and a half more than the lowly Anaheim Ducks. That's, again, got Dylan Gunther, who's scoring. He's on pace for like 165 goals right now, man. How can you bet against those guys? Come on, whatever bet you're placing, make sure you go do it on FanDuel.com.
One left to Connor Garland, okay? We don't give a beep about Dylan Gunther, okay? Trevor, keep it positive. Okay, Trevor Beggs, Kyle Bhawan, Locked On Canucks, working remotely this morning, not at the Don't Doze Art Lab, but kudos to those guys for always looking out for us. Got to give them a shout out and hit some of the links in the bio. Okay. Join the Discord. I'm going to be, I did update my blog a couple days ago, talked about Connor Garland, and I'm going to go drink some coffee, pay for some expensive coffee. What's a cocky? Pay for some expensive coffee, live up in 420 somewhere, you know what I'm saying, and get some more writing done, because it's time to vent about Elias Pettersson, and I'm going to do that on the blog. Hit the link in the bio, buy a t-shirt if you want, and let's do it, Trevor. Let's talk about the biggest alien in the room, aka the biggest elephant in the room, and the people, man. Did the people lie to me yesterday? When I did the post-game show and I was rambling and I was emotional and I was getting mad at Rick Tocchet for benching Elias Pettersson at the end of the game when we needed 2 goals and there was an extra attacker and Pettersson was not on the ice, I was like, well, Tocchet, what are you doing? What are you doing here? Well, why are you making this harder on Pettersson? There are some people in the comments telling me that there was some sort of lower body injury. I haven't heard much on that afterwards. I guess the comments are not going to confirm that at all. But all in all, what a start to the season for, again, the alien, the biggest alien, not only in the room, but in the NHL. Because, well, I guess he's actually the biggest elephant. This is something else, Trevor. And we're going to get to your comments because the comments are going off right now. But Beggsy, take the floor right now. Like, what does your heart tell you about everything Elias Pettersson?
My heart tells me that there's reason to be concerned here. Now,
Whoa.
That being said, I do want to put into perspective a bit because I think the concern for Elias Pettersson and the vitriol he's gotten in this market has probably gone a bit over the top. But you can understand fans' frustration because he's had about a 40-game stretch where he just hasn't looked himself. He looks tentative. He looks scared. He looks like he's almost trying too hard. He's just lacking the sauce right now, lacking that mojo, lacking that confidence. But again, it's just so early in the season that you just don't really want to make sweeping judgments on a player. But again, he's making the big bucks. He hasn't quite looked himself. And it feels like people are kind of grasping for straws here. You know, you see David Quadrelli be like, oh, Pettersson was the Canucks' best forward last night. Come on. He was not the Canucks' best forward.
It was Connor Garland and him. It was Connor Garland and him. He was going at it for the last 40 minutes. He was doing his best. Now, the best, I think, for him recently is a little different. The bar is pretty low considering not the whole money thing, but his ability to be dynamic offensively. Like, you know how much space Kucherov, Point, and Gensel were making yesterday? Like, that was missing in Pettersson's game yesterday. That being said, the effort was there. He was hustling. He was trying, but all in all, there needs to be way, way more. And I want to read this comment right here because this actually makes me really think, okay? And hopefully there's no swear words in this comment. I got my glasses on, but he's saying that it's Elston Gunn. One left to Elston Gunn, one of the best commenters on the show, emotional, speaks from the heart, okay? For real. And I feel like even though this dude's a little mad, there's a lot of Go Canucks going him, okay? So give him the floor. He says that Pettersson's contract is going to be the worst contract in team history. Even if he gets to be a 100-point player, the dude's going to fold like a cheap lawn chair in the playoffs. Bro can't even handle a tough interview. Okay. Trevor, you've been in the room. You've been in the room, buddy. And I know, Trevor. I know. They might be trying to protect him, blah, blah, blah. There's some optics I don't understand here. But isn't it so weird that your number 1 center or your number 2 center, your 1B center after big games or just games in general is like constantly unavailable to the media after games? Like, you can't tell me that's not weird. And bro, didn't I talked about this before the season started. I said it would be in Pettersson's best interest to talk to the media after every game this year to show the fans that he doesn't give a beep. Because right now it's showing that he gives a beep and the noise gets to him. So much so that he doesn't want to talk to them. What? Dude, just fake it. Fake it. Cliche answers. What?
Yeah. So one of the things I've noticed, again, for my part-time gig being in the booth there is that I feel like sometimes Canucks media doesn't always request Pettersson because he doesn't give the best answers. You can tell he looks kind of standoffish and uncomfortable. Like when you're writing stories, like you often want the best quotes, and Pettersson is just not that guy. That being said, I agree with you, Kyle. I think it would show some accountability. It would show the fact that he's not rattled. Because right now it definitely seems like he's rattled. And that's a big problem for this Vancouver Canucks. I mean, this team is, they're a mid team without Elias Pettersson going. Maybe slightly above mid. So look, there's the heat on Pettersson not going down anytime soon. And I don't think it's going down after last night. I mean, I see you're saying he's the second best forward last night. I know we got some other commenters saying the same thing. Okay, well, why wasn't he one of the last forwards on the ice at the end of the game there?
You answer that question, bro. You answer that right now. What happened there?
Look, I think there's some quiet frustration with the coaching staff towards Elias Pettersson right now. And obviously he's getting the vitriol from the fan base. That's pretty vocal. But we heard Rick Tocchet after the game against Philadelphia talk about how Pettersson's line, was the lowest line in terms of ice time and even strength because the Blueger line outplayed him. The freaking fourth line outplayed them. That's not a great sign. I think the commentary's been subdued a bit. Like even Tocchet said, Blueger's line played more like because they deserve more, but also P didn't play as much because he played so much against Calgary. He played like 23-45 in that game.
Yeah, that's
so they're trying to like make the comments subdue, but I do think there's some quiet frustration with Pettersson there. Something's just not clicking. He gets down low in the power play last night, takes a one-timer from a terrible angle. He's just not the player that we've seen before. And man, oh man, I don't know if this guy needs to, be 420 friendly, go to the Amsterdam Cafe. I don't know exactly what he needs, but he's got to find a way out of there. Or this team their Stanley Cup aspirations are going to be put on hold.
Again, like Trevor, you made a good point. If Pettersson is not going, the Canucks are at mid at best because they have a Norris Trophy defenseman. They still have JT Miller, and they have decent goaltending. They'll figure it out, right? They'll be middle of the pack. But if Pettersson is not dynamic and lives up to that quote unquote dollar amount, like there's no hope for the Vancouver Canucks going far in the playoffs. We already saw it last year. Like last year, they didn't go far in the playoffs. They lost in the second round. Why? Because Pettersson sucked. Like, that was a big reason.
Yeah,
and Demko was hurt. I get it, but we took Oilers to 7 games. Like if Pettersson was the player he's supposed to be for one game, we would have won that series.
Yeah, and I think NuckFan77 makes a good point here, saying, what about the rest of the top 6? Can't put all the blame on PD. Look, aside from Garland and Höglander, a lot of teams not going. And I think Hughes and Hronek, I think Hughes had a couple mistakes, but for the most part, the Hughes and Hronek pair has been fantastic to start the season as well. But, Miller and Best aren't clicking. Miller's giving the puck away. Pettersson's lacking sharpness. Like, that's the main reason why the team's 0-3 right now, or 0-1-2, I should say. So again, we're 3 games in. We kept it positive to start, but there's obviously some elephants in the room here, and there's reasons why the team has not won a game yet.
Dude, Miller's been just as bad, quote unquote, as Pettersson, straight up. And I feel like Miller has 6 more turnovers this season than Elias Pettersson. So there's a lot of truth to that. It's not putting it all on him as far as why this team has been 0-1-2. It's just it's just getting to the point where we're bored. You know what I'm saying? You just want to see more. Enough is enough. And Trevor, like, I think, sometimes people don't like how positive we are sometimes and how patient we are with Pettersson. And straight up, I think Pettersson's a dog and he's going to get it. I think some of the little things that he was doing yesterday, like the amount of hustle he was showing and that fight, like that's part of Pettersson's game too. Like that's how he creates offense. It didn't happen completely yesterday, but his ability to get in on the forecheck, be a nuisance to play against, be hard to play against the boards, like that's when Pettersson's at his best. He was doing all those things. He's going to find his game. But until then, again, we're going to be bored. And until then, it's also, I think, in the best interest of, fans can say whatever they want and tweet out whatever they want and leave comments and say all that stuff. But again, I always say, look after our neighbors, right? That's one thing I always say. And this is another example of me not being a effing reporter or a broadcaster or a journalist. I'm just a fan and I'm just a Vancouverite. And I wish nothing but the best for Pettersson. Straight up. Good dude. I want him to snap out of this. I want him to be happy. And for a guy that's also now, I feel like it's confirmed. Beggsy said it way back in the day that this guy's on his phone a lot. Pettersson is. And dude, what happened yesterday? Okay. Me and Beggsy at a bar with who knows. And this person confirmed that 2 other people said the same thing. That Pettersson's on his phone a lot. So again, I look after my neighbors. I try to keep it positive because when you're down and out and you're addicted to your smartphone, and when you open your smartphone, people are talking ish to you, how are you able to climb out of this hole? And I keep saying it, like people want this guy to drive himself out of this hole, and it makes sense because you're 11.6 and you're supposed to be a play driver and blah, blah, blah. Dude, sometimes we all need help. And one time, this guy right now, he needs a little bit of help, and it's not coming from Jake DeBrusk. It's not coming from Danton Heinen to get out of this slump. And it's either like, it's got to be a combination of him chucking his phone in the garbage and then also playing with Connor Garland. My name's Kyle Bound. That's Trevor Beggs, and I approve of that message. Hit the like button, subscribe to the show. Beggsy, you can finish it off with your own statement. We got to go, though. Hit the links in the bio as well. One love to Pettersson, one love to all the fans, you and you and you and you, entitled to your own opinion. But like I said, Kyle Bound is always going to look after his neighbors, and it's early in the season. And I'm going to look after Pettersson, man. He's going to get the job done, and he's going to be back to being the player he's supposed to be.
There you go, Pettersson. Get off your phone. And I think as we touch on, well, again, let's Locked On Canucks, your Canucks every day. One of the ideas I want to touch on tomorrow is, some unique or unorthodox ideas that can fix the Canucks problems right now. But we'll save that for another day. We got to get out of here for now. Shout out to the everydayers, occasional listeners, first-time listeners, new subscribers, and those of you who join us on the live show on YouTube. Whenever you're listening, wherever you're listening, we appreciate the hell out of you for tuning in to Locked On Canucks. All right. Again, Locked On Canucks, your Canucks every day. We're going to have you covered for everything going on with your Vancouver Canucks, and we'll be back tomorrow. But for now, we got to get out of here. I'm Trevor Beggs. That guy's Cal Bhawan, and you've been listening to Locked On Canucks.